Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jen Rose Mom here, and today I'm here to talk to you about one of the questions that I get asked the most often. What is that question? What is your favorite lens to shoot with? Or what lens do you recommend that I shoot boudoir with? So let's talk a little bit about that. The true answer is, I can't tell you what lens is the best to shoot with. There's a couple of things that you need to consider. Number one, are you on a full frame or a crop sensor camera? It makes a big difference. So a 50 millimeter on a full frame camera is a true 50 millimeter, but something like a 50 millimeter on a crop sensor is more like a 75 millimeter. So you really need to think, do you have a crop sensor or do you have a full sensor? That's really important to know. Number two, how much room are you shooting with? So I shoot in a really, really tiny studio in New York. So typically what I use is like a 58 millimeter. The Nikon 58 millimeter is what my new favorite lens is. So I'll shoot with something like that because I'm shooting in a really small area. I can't really use something like a 70 to 200 or an 85, even though those might be preferred lenses for portraiture. I don't have room to do that. But if I shoot on location where I'm shooting in a big house or in a studio, I will break out my 85 or my 70 to 200. Also, you want to consider, what are you going for? Are you really looking for like an up close shot, in which case I might even recommend like a 105? Or are you looking to get a lot of environment in which case you might need a 35 millimeter? So my advice to you guys is, there's not one lens to shoot with that is like the right lens for boudoir. It really depends on space, budget, type of camera you're putting it on. There's so many different answers. So that's sort of my advice on what lens to pick. There's not one right answer. That's why there's so many lenses. So usually I'll tell you what I travel with and what I have with me at all times so that I know I'm prepared for everything. Now, this is kind of a long list. I know not everybody's gonna be able to afford to just run out and buy all of these, but it's a collection over time. So my primes that I mostly shoot with are 35 millimeter, 58 millimeter, and 85 millimeter, and a 105 millimeter, all Nikon. And my zooms that I have are 24 to 70 and 70 to 200. For the most part, any scenario that I get into, one of these lenses can basically cover me for whatever I need. So whenever I go to my studio or I go to an on-location shoot, that is what I bring with me. Again, my favorite, 58 millimeter, it works for my space, but if I'm in a bigger space, I'll use a different lens. So just think about exactly what you want. So when you ask somebody, what's your favorite lens to use? Ask them why. What are they, what kind of space are they shooting in? What are they shooting? Because like a wedding photographer will have a different camera bag than a portrait photographer. So ask a few more questions, dig a little bit deeper, and then figure out which lens will work for you. Bye guys.